In a tidy, lived-in kitchen, Margaret, 74, sits at her counter, a half-empty tea mug beside her. Her gaze, a blend of weariness and quiet strength, holds a lifetime of untold stories. She takes a steadying breath, preparing to speak, her voice a testament to resilience. "My name is Margaret Ellison. I'm 74 years old," she begins, her voice firm. Sunlight dapples a picturesque, tree-lined street in Naperville, Illinois, painting a scene of serene beauty. A comfortable, well-maintained house stands proudly, its facade hinting at decades of stories and quiet lives within. This is Margaret's home, a sanctuary where countless moments have unfolded, now poised for a dark twist. The idyllic image of suburban peace creates a stark, unsettling contrast with the narrative's looming shadows. Every leaf and shadow seems to whisper of a hidden darkness, lurking beneath the surface of this perfect day. In Margaret's living room, a framed photograph rests on the mantelpiece, capturing a moment frozen in time. The picture shows Margaret, her husband Gerald, and their 3 vibrant children, Thomas, Susan, and Daniel. Margaret's hand, aged by time and sorrow, reaches out, trembling slightly. Her fingertips gently trace the smiling face of Gerald in the photograph, a tender caress across the glass. A brief, poignant moment of remembrance washes over her, a silent tribute to her late husband. Her eyes, filled with a distant longing, reflect the bittersweet memories held within the frame. In a stark hospital room, Margaret lies pale yet alert, the soft beeping of monitors a rhythmic reminder of her fragile state. Dr. Okafor, kind and professional, stands by Margaret's bedside, her voice a calm presence in the quiet room. "Your heart condition requires careful management, Margaret. I've prescribed some new medications," Dr. Okafor states. Margaret's face shifts, a profound awareness of her mortality dawning as she quietly replies, "I understand, doctor. Thank you." In her bright, clean kitchen, Margaret, with quiet determination, arranges new medication bottles under the soft November light. Her fingers meticulously trace the labels, her eyes scanning each one with a precise, unwavering focus. She carefully jots notes into a small, worn ledger, her movements reflecting deep self-sufficiency. The ledger, filled with neat, consistent handwriting, details finances and household affairs, a testament to her ordered life. In a sun-drenched guest room, Daniel, impeccably dressed, begins to unpack his suitcase with practiced ease. His eyes dart around the comfortable room, a flicker of something almost imperceptible glinting within their depths. From the doorway, Margaret watches him, a warm, genuine smile gracing her lips, radiating welcome. Her gaze is full of maternal affection, a silent promise of comfort and belonging. Margaret's voice, soft and reassuring, breaks the silence. "You're always welcome here, son." Daniel offers a charming smile in return, the subtle glint in his eye momentarily hidden. Warm, natural light bathes Margaret's kitchen as Daniel, with focused precision, sorts her medications into a weekly organizer. His nimble fingers work meticulously, arranging the pills with an almost surgical dedication. He then pulls out his phone, his brow furrowed in concentration as he sets reminders and creates a detailed chart. Margaret watches him, her expression a soft, tender mix of admiration and love for his attentive devotion. Her voice, filled with gentle affection, whispers, "What a good son you are." In her bedroom, Margaret reaches for her medication, her hand hovering over an empty space where bottles should be. A flicker of confusion crosses her face as she scans the bedside table, searching for the missing medicine. Daniel enters, a small, locked box held firmly in his hands, his expression resolute. He approaches Margaret, his gaze steady as he reveals the locked container. "I've moved everything into a locked box for your safety, Mom," Daniel states, his voice gentle yet firm. Margaret, her face etched with frustration, extends a trembling hand toward Daniel, the air between them thick with unspoken history. Daniel meets her gaze, his expression patient yet subtly wounded, a silent plea in his eyes. Margaret's voice, sharp with urgency, cuts through the tension. I need access to my prescriptions. Daniel's response, gentle but firm, carries the weight of recent trauma. Mom, you almost died. His words hang in the air, a stark reminder of her vulnerability. I'm just trying to protect you. Margaret's frustration gives way to a reluctant acceptance, though a flicker of doubt still dances in her eyes. Sunlight streams into Margaret's kitchen, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air like tiny secrets. Daniel stands by the window, his voice a low murmur on the phone, a hushed conversation hinting at hidden depths. His eyes flick to Margaret as she enters, a practiced smile instantly masking his face, ending the call abruptly. He moves towards her, a charming facade of easygoing affection, subtly beginning to guide her narrative. Her story, once her own, now subtly entwines with his influence, a silent shift in their shared reality. In Dr. Okafor's neat office, a quiet hum fills the air as Margaret and Daniel sit, the tension palpable. Daniel, with a practiced ease, interjects details about Margaret's confusion before she can speak. Margaret opens her mouth to protest, a silent plea on her lips, but Daniel's hand gently cuts her off. His touch, seemingly reassuring, silences her, a subtle power play unfolding in the sterile room. Dr. Okafor watches them, a silent question in his gaze, observing the unspoken dynamics between them. In the vibrant spring of 2021, Margaret steps out of her house, a friendly wave from Patrice, her neighbor, gracing the air. Daniel approaches Patrice, his voice hushed, as he gestures subtly towards Margaret's departing figure. Patrice's friendly smile dissolves into a look of deepening concern as she listens intently to Daniel's words. Her gaze, now heavy with worry, follows Margaret, who remains blissfully unaware of the hushed conversation. Margaret walks away, a picture of tranquil ignorance, as the unspoken words hang heavy in the spring air. The scene closes on Patrice's troubled face, a silent testament to the unfolding drama Margaret is yet to discover. In her kitchen, Margaret sits alone, the soft lamplight casting long shadows across her troubled face. Her gaze is empty, lost in a distant space, as a chilling whisper of doubt invades her thoughts. She wonders if Daniel's cruel words about her are taking root in the minds of others. A subtle shake of her head, a desperate attempt to dislodge the intrusive, unsettling thought. She tries to convince herself that such a suspicion is unfair, a self-inflicted wound to her own peace. In his dimly lit Denver apartment, Thomas, serious and professional, presses the phone to his ear, his brow furrowed in growing concern. From the phone, Daniel's voice crackles. Margaret, she left the stove on again, Thomas. Nearly burned the place down. Thomas's eyes narrow, his voice sharp with disbelief. The stove? Are you sure? Daniel's voice is firm, echoing through the phone. Positive. I walked in, and the smell of gas. It was overwhelming. Thomas's grip tightens on the phone, a silent dread settling over him as he absorbs the chilling words. Daniel's voice, a lifeline, continues. Lucky I was there. Thomas's face is a mask of deepening worry. In a sunlit classroom, Susan paces slowly between empty desks, a phone pressed to her ear, her brow furrowing with concern. Her expression shifts, a troubled shadow creeping onto her face as she listens intently to the voice on the other end. The unseen Daniel's voice fills the silence. Margaret got lost driving to the pharmacy again. Susan's eyes widen slightly, her gaze fixed on nothing, processing the gravity of the words. Daniel's voice continues, a painful revelation. She couldn't remember the way, Susan, the usual route. A soft, heartbreaking sigh escapes Susan's lips, a whisper of sorrow. Oh, Daniel. Sunlight streams into Margaret's kitchen, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air like tiny golden secrets. Margaret moves with quiet, efficient grace, a soft, tuneless hum escaping her lips, a melody of pure contentment. Her hands deftly chop vegetables, each movement precise and practiced, a testament to her self-sufficiency. She stirs a pot, the rhythmic motion a comforting pulse in the heart of her familiar kitchen. Every action speaks volumes, painting a portrait of quiet strength and a deep, comfortable familiarity with her surroundings. This space is undeniably hers, and she navigates it with an easy confidence, a stark contrast to any narrative of dependence. Sunlight streams into Margaret's living room, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air, a serene facade. Daniel stands by the window, phone pressed to his ear, his voice a hushed, practiced tone of concern. He paces slightly, a restless energy about him, a subtle tension underlying his calm exterior. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture meant to convey stress, but his eyes remain sharp, calculating. Each word he utters is carefully chosen. "Yes, Thomas, I'm just so worried about her memory." He concludes, "She's been so confused lately. I really think we need to consider some options." His voice a chilling whisper. In Margaret's sunlit kitchen, Susan enters, an unexpected shadow cast over the bright morning, her movements deliberate. Susan pulls out a chair at the kitchen table, her presence unsettlingly calm. She settles in, her expression carefully measured as her gaze fixes on Margaret, a silent challenge in her eyes. Margaret's stomach plummets, a sudden knot of unease tightening within her as Susan's presence looms. Susan breaks the tense silence, her voice cutting through the air. "Margaret, I wanted to talk about your recent confusion." Her gaze unwavering, Susan presses on, a loaded question hanging in the air. "Are you all right?" Margaret's unwavering gaze pierces Susan, who stands with slumped shoulders, a whisper barely escaping her lips. Susan recounts Daniel's fabricated calls, painting a vivid, disturbing picture of betrayal. With each word, Margaret's face hardens, a cold realization dawning in her eyes. "Where did you hear these things?" Susan, her heart heavy, confesses. "Daniel," he called. "He told me everything. The incidents, the way he described them." In Margaret's kitchen, her hands tremble. Not from illness, but from a burgeoning rage. A cold, hard certainty replaces fear and grief in her chest as the truth of Daniel's manipulation dawns. Her eyes, once clouded, now blaze with an unwavering resolve. The air around her thickens with an unspoken fury, a silent storm brewing within. The undeniable reality of betrayal settles, hardening her features into a mask of grim determination. Daniel gently guides Margaret to the sofa, his face etched with a serious, concerned expression. A thick manila folder, heavy with papers, rests on the coffee table between them, a silent harbinger of difficult news. Daniel slides the folder closer, his voice low with worry. "I've been speaking with an elder law attorney, Margaret." His gaze meets hers, the weight of his words hanging in the air. "This is a full power of attorney." Margaret's eyes are locked onto the folder, a silent understanding dawning within her. The implications of a full, durable power of attorney wash over her, a chilling revelation. The betrayal from Daniel, a cold, hard reality, intensifies her fury. Her hands clench into tight fists, knuckles white with a simmering rage. The weight of what she stands to lose settles heavily upon her, a crushing burden. In the living room, Margaret stands tall, her gaze unwavering as she faces Daniel, a quiet resolve etched on her face. Daniel blinks, a flicker of surprise in his eyes, caught off guard by her sudden shift in demeanor. Margaret's voice is low, but a newfound firmness resonates within it, an authority Daniel has never heard before. Her command cuts through the air. "Daniel, I need you to leave the room." The finality in her voice leaves no room for doubt as she adds, "right now." Daniel, discomfort etched on his face, quickly exits the living room, leaving a lingering tension in his wake. Alone in the quiet room, Margaret's gaze immediately falls upon the telephone, a lifeline in her moment of need. Her hand trembles ever so slightly as she reaches for the receiver, a silent battle of nerves playing out. Each digit she dials is a deliberate, fragile movement, her fingers barely steady on the buttons. The phone rings, a jarring sound in the stillness, as Margaret awaits Susan's voice, her expression fraught with anticipation. In her kitchen, Margaret stands under the warm glow of the overhead light, her eyes weary yet resolute. Her phone rests on the counter, a conduit for voices, Susan's and Thomas's, filling the quiet space. Margaret's voice, a controlled stream of revelations, exposes a chilling truth. He locked my medication box. He spoke for me at every appointment. Every single thing he said, every excuse. It was all a lie. A gasp from Susan. "Oh, Margaret," echoes through the line, a testament to the shocking confession. On Thomas's end, silence stretches, heavy and thick, as a terrible realization dawns upon him. In his Denver apartment, Thomas hunches over his phone, its blue light casting an eerie glow on his face. His fingers fly across the screen, a blur of motion as he scrolls through call logs and messages. A visible knot tightens in his jaw, a silent battle against the rising tide of disbelief. Disbelief warps into a cold, hard anger as he meticulously cross-references dates on the small screen. The undeniable evidence of Daniel's deceit mounts, each new discovery fueling his simmering rage. In Margaret's kitchen, the soft glow of lights frames Susan's tear-streaked face as she whispers into the phone, her voice thick with emotion. Margaret sits opposite, her expression a mask of quiet strength, watching Susan with an unwavering gaze. The initial shock has vanished from Margaret's features, replaced by a fierce, steely resolve. Every word from Susan's phone call deepens Margaret's understanding, a dawning clarity in her eyes. Margaret's posture stiffens, her hands clenched, signaling a profound shift from passive observer to resolute participant. The air crackles with unspoken tension as Margaret processes the full weight of the revelations, her resolve hardening. Sunlight streams into the office, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air as Margaret sits composedly, ready to speak. Barbara Cheng, a sharp, empathetic attorney, listens intently, her steady gaze fixed on Margaret. Barbara taps a pen against her legal pad, her head nodding occasionally as Margaret calmly details Daniel's actions. Barbara breaks the silence, stating, "Based on what you've described, this could certainly fall under undue influence and elder abuse." Margaret sits at her desk, her back ramrod straight, an unyielding pillar of focus in her home office. Her pen glides meticulously across the paper, each stroke documenting Daniel's insidious manipulations. She cross-references dates and events, her steady handwriting a testament to her unwavering resolve. The stack of papers beside her grows, a silent, formidable monument to her burgeoning strength. Each word written, each date confirmed, builds an undeniable case against her tormentor. Morning sun spills into Dr. Okafor's office, illuminating the quiet tension as Margaret sits, hands clasped tightly. Dr. Okafor listens intently, a deep concern etched into her features as Margaret begins to speak. Margaret's voice trembles with frustration. "Daniel has this pattern, you see. He always speaks over me." Her eyes flash with indignation. "And these reports, these false reports of my decline, they're simply not true." Dr. Okafor's gaze is steady, her voice calm and reassuring. "I understand, Margaret." A weighty suggestion hangs in the air. "Given what you've described, I'd like to propose a full cognitive evaluation." Golden sunlight streams through the office window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the quiet air. Margaret sits upright, her eyes sharp and focused, beginning the cognitive evaluation with unwavering resolve. Her voice is clear and steady as she answers questions with precise, unwavering confidence. Her movements are deliberate and accurate, each task performed with a quiet, undeniable competence. With each correct answer, an unseen barrier crumbles, dispelling any doubts about her sharp mental acuity. Dr. Okafor watches, a subtle, impressed nod gracing her face as Margaret continues to excel. Dr. Okafor, a kind-faced man, gestures toward a monitor, a relieved smile spreading across his face. Margaret, her initial tension easing, watches him intently, her gaze fixed on his every move. He turns from the screen, his gaze meeting hers, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. A powerful surge of vindication washes over Margaret, a palpable weight lifting from her shoulders. In Margaret's living room, the air is thick with unspoken tension, a palpable weight pressing down on everyone present. Margaret grips a handwritten statement in Gerald's armchair, her knuckles stark white, revealing her inner turmoil. Thomas sits nearby, his face a grim mask of concern, the silent support a stark contrast to Margaret's visible distress. Daniel stands awkwardly, his eyes darting nervously around the room as Barbara Cheng's disembodied voice fills the tense silence. In her quiet living room, Margaret stands tall, holding a piece of paper, her posture unwavering. Her voice, clear and strong, fills the air as she begins to read, articulating Daniel's actions. She details meticulous documentation and conversations with Barbara and Dr. Okafor, her resolve unyielding. Her firm gaze warns of impending legal action, daring him to contest her words. Daniel's body is racked with sobs, his shoulders shaking uncontrollably in Margaret's living room. Tears stream down his face as he chokes out, "It's a misunderstanding. I was only trying to help." His voice, thick with raw emotion, echoes the depth of his despair. He pleads, "Mom, you have a heart condition. You needed someone to take care of you." In the hushed living room, Margaret's gaze pierces Daniel, her face an unreadable mask of stone. The air thickens, heavy with the oppressive weight of silence, each second stretching into an eternity. Unspoken accusations hang in the stifling atmosphere. A silent battle waged between their locked eyes. A profound disappointment, deep and bitter, settles over Margaret, etched into the very lines of her being. The room itself seems to hold its breath, a silent witness to the escalating emotional tension. Margaret's living room is hushed, the air thick with the unspoken weight of a shared history. Margaret's gaze, steady and piercing, holds an unreadable depth, a silent challenge in her eyes. The tension in the room is a palpable force, stretching taut between them, ready to snap. She breaks the silence, her voice a low, unwavering tone that cuts through the heavy air. Margaret delivers her words with a chilling calm. "My heart is fine, Daniel. Yours is the one I'd worry about." Her eyes remain fixed, a silent declaration of strength and a veiled warning. Daniel emerges from the house, his shoulders slumped, 2 suitcases in his hands, a heavy burden in his gaze. He avoids Margaret's eyes, the house's facade reflecting his unspoken farewell. He settles into his car, the engines rumble, a prelude to his escape. As he drives away, the distance grows, marking the end of an era. Margaret stands in the doorway, a complex mix of profound sadness and quiet relief etched on her face. Her eyes follow his vanishing car, a silent testament to their parting, as the door closes on their shared past. Margaret sits alone in her kitchen, a forgotten mug of cold tea before her, amidst the chilling grip of winter. Her gaze, distant and profound, is fixed on the snow-covered garden outside, each flake a silent, heavy finality. The hollow grief of a mother, raw and deep, settles around her, as palpable as the winter air. Her posture, though unyielding, speaks of an inner strength that defies the visible sorrow. Faint lines etched around her eyes betray a story of battles fought and scars unseen, a testament to her endurance. She remains a figure of quiet resilience, a silent sentinel against the harsh, unforgiving winter. Sunlight streams into Margaret's house, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air as a locksmith works intently on the front door. Margaret stands nearby, her expression a mask of quiet intensity, watching every move. The metallic click of the new lock engaging echoes through the stillness, a stark, definitive sound. A profound sense of reclaiming her space settles over Margaret, a silent victory in the quiet house. In Barbara Cheng's office, Margaret sits with a stack of documents, her expression a mask of quiet resolve. Her pen moves with deliberate strokes, each signature a declaration of her will, a rebuilding of her life. Among the documents, a new will, and the designation of Susan as her healthcare proxy speak volumes of her measured decisions. Barbara Cheng, sharp and professional, watches Margaret, a silent witness to this methodical reclaiming of control. Every action is precise, methodical, a testament to Margaret's unwavering determination to live on her own terms. In her bright, cozy kitchen, Margaret reaches for a small, neatly organized pillbox on the counter. With deliberate movements, she opens the pillbox, its contents a testament to her daily routine. She carefully takes out her daily medications, a small act of self-care and resilience. This consistent act speaks volumes about her regained control and independence, a quiet triumph. 3 months later, a soft light bathes Dr. Okafor's office, casting a gentle glow on Margaret. She offers him a radiant, genuine smile, a stark contrast to her previous somber demeanor. Dr. Okafor's voice is warm as he asks, "How are you doing?" Margaret's eyes sparkle with newfound joy as she replies, "I'm doing well, better than I have in years." In her sun-dappled kitchen, Margaret stands bathed in a gentle light, a picture of quiet strength. Her eyes, seasoned by life's many battles, gaze directly ahead, holding a mix of contemplation and resilience. The air around her hums with unspoken stories, her voice, rich with experience, about to fill the space. A profound realization dawns in her eyes as she begins to speak, her voice steady and clear. "I thought he was my caretaker," Margaret confesses, a hint of past vulnerability in her tone. Her gaze hardens with a new understanding. "I didn't realize I was his plan." Margaret, a woman of formidable presence, commands her small kitchen, her gaze piercing and direct. She leans forward slightly, an unspoken invitation in her posture, her eyes holding a sharp, knowing glint. Her voice, rich with implied wisdom, poses a question that hangs in the air. Is there someone in your life who has quietly made themselves indispensable? She finishes, her eyes challenging the viewer. The kitchen is bathed in a warm glow, the comforting aroma of freshly brewed tea filling the air. Margaret sits at the table, her hands clasped tightly, a deep thoughtfulness etched upon her face. Her eyes, unwavering and intense, pierce the silence, holding a profound secret within their depths. "It doesn't always look like cruelty," Margaret confesses, her voice a hushed revelation. "Sometimes it looks like the most devoted love you have ever been shown." She continues, a chilling truth in her words. The unsettling truth hangs heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the cozy kitchen's facade. In her kitchen, Margaret's features soften, a subtle shift in her expression, yet the determination in her eyes remains. She stands tall, embodying a quiet strength that emanates from her very core. Her gaze holds a profound knowing, reflecting a battle fought and won within herself. A flicker of defiance dances in her eyes, challenging unspoken assumptions. With unwavering resolve, Margaret declares, "You are not obligated to mistake control for love." Her words hang in the air, a powerful testament to her independence and self-worth. In her cozy kitchen, Margaret, with a warm and inviting smile, gestures directly towards the camera. A digital interface, glowing faintly, shimmers into existence, representing a vibrant comment section. The luminous interface quickly fades, a fleeting symbol of her deep connection to her unseen audience. Her eyes sparkle with anticipation as she leans in, a secret shared between friends. "If any part of this story felt familiar, leave a comment," Margaret urges, her voice a soft invitation. "Tell me what you saw," she whispers, her gaze holding a universe of shared experience. In her kitchen, Margaret's earnest and compassionate gaze meets the camera, her hands resting gently on the table. Her voice, filled with genuine empathy, resonates. "None of us should be facing this alone." A solemn promise forms on her lips. "I'll read every single one." Her eyes, reflecting a deep understanding, convey a silent vow of support. In her sunlit kitchen, Margaret stands with an unwavering gaze, a quiet, resilient strength emanating from her very being. A subtle, knowing smile graces her lips, hinting at a profound realization. Her eyes reflect an inner journey, a heart once underestimated, now revealed as stronger than anyone knew. She acknowledges her own power, a silent triumph etched in her composed demeanor. The scene softly fades to black, leaving an enduring image of quiet strength and profound self-discovery.